Welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, check this out. This is an original Astute. Originally released back in the 13th of December 1989. So she's an old one, she's getting on a bit, and this one is completely original. It's not perfect. It does need a little bit of love, and that's my main problem with this car, is I don't know what to do with it. I'm normally not that fussed. I'll happily put an aftermarket body shell on an original car, even aftermarket stickers if there's none of the original ones around at a reasonable price. I can live with if they're okay. But this car, I don't know, it just because it hasn't been messed with, it's exactly as it was when it was built. I really don't know. I may put an original Tamiya body on it, but the problem with doing that is the original stickers, people are asking silly money, and the car wasn't that expensive. I actually got a reasonable deal on it, so I don't want to be spending, say, 70% of the price of the car on a set of stickers. That's just insane. Hi, this is Gavin from the future. Just to let you know, I've managed to pick up some Astute stickers, so we'll be going with the plan of replacing the body and bringing the car back to mint. Yes, they were insanely expensive for a set of stickers, but I got a reasonable-ish deal, I guess, kind of. Anyway. But obviously, like most of you probably already know, the re-releases, there's been 2 re-releases of this car. So this one came out in 1989, and then the next one came out in 1991, and that was the Super Astute. January this year, they re-released the Super Astute again, and now you can go and buy a new in-box one online right now if you wanted one. And I am tempted, I must admit. I won't run this car because it's exactly in standard form. There's been almost no changes to the rear of this car, where some of the fundamental weaknesses are that damage and destroy the original parts. When Tamiya brought this buggy out, it was a real attempt at getting back into racing. So they wanted to give you as much opportunity to fettle the car and adjust it and set it up for the track that you're racing on. So on paper, sounds fantastic that you can go to a track and you can adjust your cambers, your toe-ins really quickly. The problem was, and this one is a prime example of that, you can see how much play there is in the rear of this car. I'll cut to a closer shot of it and you can see just how much play. It's funny to see the original tyres. They're not cracked or anything, but they haven't done much mileage. Just the tops have been scuffed off, but you can tell they're getting on a bit. I may take them off and soak them to try and get some moisture back into them, but they haven't cracked. The front ones are worn down more. So taking a closer look at the car, the body is in pretty good condition. It's got a bit of a dull matte, but I've started to polish up the polycarbonate and it's starting to come back. So I think it's just sat around for a long time. It has got some damage to the body. There's a little bit of a crack around the back post on both sides. I can glue those up and this body would be okay. And there's a little bit of tiny cracking at the front, but not too much considering how old this car is. The rear spoiler was kind of painted on both sides, so it's got more of a matte finish. I'm not sure whether someone tried to fix problems with it or they made a mistake, so they had to go back and do it again, but it's painted on both sides, so it doesn't have the sheen like the body does. I would like to try and keep it as standard as possible. So maybe it's worth taking a punt to try and get this back to a point where I can respray it again. Hi, this is the smarter Gavin from the future. All I've got to do is lacquer the spoiler, it will give me the shine I want, and it will protect the original stickers, and it should look perfectly fine. And I don't know, I'm going to lose that sticker though. I'm going to replace the front tyres if I can find them. I haven't looked to see how difficult these tyres are to find. The rear ones, apart from a clean, probably don't need changing. Underside, so the car has obviously been driven and there is some damage to the underside. It's not horrendous, but it's been driven. So I've picked up a few replacement parts already. So I have mainly the skid rear bumper, the front section bumper. The rest I don't really need. And then I've also got the main bulkhead, which has also got another section. So that will replace this section here, and this section. So they'll be all new. Now the arms, the swing arms, have all been changed a few times by Tamiya. So you can't just go and buy the Super Astute ones and bolt them on and they will look the same. They are different. So I don't really want to take the arms off the Astute and put on Super Astute. They are stronger and they're better designed, but they're not the same. So that I'm not too keen about. So I'm not going to do that. And there's no damage on them. They're just scuffed up. So unless I can find some original swing arms, then I won't change them. If they turn up and I can, then obviously I'll buy the arms. The back ones are actually pretty good. It's more the front ones from that point of view. Let's take the body off and have a look. So the body has a little bit of cracking going on at the back here, but apart from that, a little bit at the front, it's actually in pretty good condition. Stickers have started to lift because it's so rounded. The stickers struggled to stay on after all this time, but the body's not too bad. I mean, on the camera it'll look perfect. It's not, apart from those two cracks, but yeah, it's good enough. So here you go. As you can see, it's stock, exactly as it was the day it was put together. Nothing's changed. It's still got the original vintage servos, a mechanical speed controller, everything. Nothing's been swapped out, nothing's been upgraded. It's a bit dirty, it could do with a clean. I have plugged in a battery and moved the mechanical controller, and the rear wheels do drive, so I'm just waiting for a couple of crystals to turn up, and then we'll be able to fire it up and it'll be a driving car straight away. I'm not sure how much I might have to clean up the mechanical speed controller, and I don't know if the servos are working, but I assume they do. Motor's standard, hasn't been upgraded at all. Shocks all look nice and new, there's no damage to them. So this car has a ball differential. The thing that's strange is it doesn't have a spring that you adjust on the outside. You actually have to shim it from the inside, which I haven't actually dug into this yet to see what it's like inside, but obviously that means it's not as adjustable on the fly. I don't know how much extra work it is to change the plates inside versus the spring where you just adjust it. Also, it's nice to see, apart from a Porsche 959 holding the servo in, it's exactly the same as the ones that they have in the 959, so they've taken that part. A few weaknesses with this car: the front bulkhead. This section here is known to crack because the whole front end sits on this one little plate, and the rear hubs snap off. So it's nice to have one that's original, because a lot of people have upgraded them. You can get metal parts for this to fix the problem, because it's a great buggy to drive, but I'm not going to do that. I've got other cars, I've got more modern cars that I can use for zooming around. This is more of a shelf project really, apart from maybe the odd drive across the lawn. One thing that was really good that I found out about this car is it actually won the European Championship in 1991 by a guy called James Booth. Now, from what I can find out, it wasn't a stock one, it was a modified one, but it's great to see it actually did do well and win something. Apparently the thing on the rear suspension is called Z-point suspension, where something to do with the as the arm is depressed, it increases the toe. There's so many joints that seem to move around that I can see why people just took them out and put the madcap rear end bits on that just port across. So I will do a video when I start to update some of the parts and swap it out. It also could do with a real clean, so I'll strip it down to a certain level. So the question of the day is, does it deserve to have a original Super Astute as a twin, or does it make no difference and just go for a 2019 Super Astute? As for upgrades, do you think I should do some upgrades for this car? Or do you think I should leave it in its honest state? Let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye bye.